You're live. That's great. So hello, everybody. Welcome to the Crystallize channel. One more time. I'm joined today by Håkon and Chris. Today we'll be talking about measuring global site speed with the Lighthouse metrics. And as usual, like I said earlier, I'm joined by Håkon, head of the Crystallize engineering team, and Chris.
Hey.
I'll say head of the Lighthouse. I'll say team. Not sure.
No. What?
I know. Yeah, we had a talk earlier, but I wanted to say that. So thanks everybody for joining. I think today will be a really interesting topic for everyone, and a really nice for people that either follow us and want to learn a few things about it, or people in general that are interested in performance and stuff like that. I think this is a really interesting topic to follow. And that said, I will go ahead and pass it to you guys, because Crystallize, of course, is following a lot the path of being performant, being of course highly available, scalable, and extremely fast. But maybe Håkon, you want to share a few things on the performance in general, like what Crystallize is, how Crystallize is behaving with the Lighthouse and things like that, loading performance, and if you want to give us a bit of an overview.
Yes, I would love to. So first off, it's really nice to have Chris here. We saw the initial release of the tool some time ago, and we're super excited. It was a perfect tool for us because it enables us to test in a new way, which we're going to talk about later. So Crystallize and performances goes right hand in hand. It is our mission to be fast. So we deliver an API that's supposed to be really, really, really fast as one of the selling points. And so tools like Lighthouse, which we have talked about in the past, help you measure, audit your site, and gives you back a clear score for your performance. And this is very important, not for us, sure, but for our clients even more so, because our clients are typically e-commerce sites or web apps, typically web stuff, but also native apps and stuff. And performance is one of the key metrics of sort of keeping the customer in. So the faster performance you are, essentially the faster APIs you have, the faster delivery methods you're using, the higher conversion rate you're getting, but more money in the bank. The longer people will browse around your e-commerce site, the more things they will view. The search engines will value performance, so you get a higher place in the ratings, higher up in the page, as well as reduced costs for ads, for instance. So Google AdWords will give you a lower fee if you're fast, or a higher one if you're slow. So Lighthouse is a tool from the Google team that is embedded in Chrome, so you can have it. You can test in DevTools. There's also online tools like Pagespeed Insights, and I am sharing my screen, right? I'm getting it right, I hope.
Let me get me out of the way. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's have a quick review. So this is one of the ways to measure a performance for a site. Pagespeed Insight is using Lighthouse in behind. So it's going to fire off an audit for our page, crystallize.com. And you're getting back a whole set of metrics, but the most important thing, and the one thing they can use for marketing and also to your leadership group, is this number here, like one clear-cut number that shows you the performance. So this is basic Lighthouse. This is basically just auditing, tracking from one single destination. I'm guessing, I don't actually know, I haven't read the docs on this tool. I'm guessing Pagespeed Insight measures from the US. I have a rough guess on that one. So that takes us further. So Crystallize, we want to offer a globally available fast API anywhere in the world. And then if you want to test your sites from all over the world, using Pagespeed Insights is simply just not enough. This tests from one single location. So I guess this question I'm having for Chris is, how do we solve that? How can we improve upon this? How can I, as a owner of Crystallize.com or a maintainer, ensure that this site also is delivered really fast in all the corners of the earth? So you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's a good point to show here actually the site which I'm working on. In this case, Lighthouse Metrics. Let me select the right window. All right. Do you see my screen?
I'll stop sharing.
Oh, okay.
Yep. There we go.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, that's where Lighthouse Metrics comes into place, because as you mentioned earlier, or just now, with Pagespeed Insights, you cannot say like, okay, the site is running that kind of fast in Germany, for example, where I'm in currently, or is it fast in New York or Los Angeles? So yeah, that's basically the reason why I created Lighthouse Metrics. So you just, for example, just which site we want to, Applecom, just to run a quick site test.
I never run a test against them. Interesting.
Yeah, lots of people are trying Apple.com.
I did.
See,
yeah.
this one. And yeah, and with this solution, you are able to see those performance scores from different places, which you cannot see with Pagespeed Insights. And many people are wondering, like, why are only the performance scores here like displayed on the front page, and where are the other scores? They are here, by the way. But the reason behind this is because the performance scores are really location based, right? Because all other scores, like the accessibility, best practices, SEO, PWA, these scores are like just a checklist of stuff which doesn't interfere with your current location.
That makes sense. So are you showing off Apple.com's Lighthouse Metrics scores right now? Or
yep, these are the actual Lighthouse scores. So it's not that good.
I am not seeing it. Are you seeing it, Savas?
Yeah, no, I'm getting also, I'm stuck with in the front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lighthouse.com.
I can share my screen.
I'm still sharing those.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, now it's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, Apple.
Sorry.
Apple.
Oh, damn it! Everything is red.
Yep.
Yep.
Looks like.
Right.
So yeah.
So this tells me that the performance is, from Apple's perspective, is at least roughly consistent. So that's one thing, I guess. But they do have some improvements they have to make, though.
Sure. So yeah, you can see all, like, okay, the performance stuff, they only have like 26 audits you can make this, but the main reason behind those scores are like the largest contentful pain, the time to interactive, and total blocking time, just for an example. So that's the reason, or like more the calculation behind the performance score itself. So it's based on many small metrics, and that's why they get so bad scores.
Yeah. I guess someone would also wonder, if you run the same test again against the same site, would you expect the same scores?
It depends, because performance is like, so how to say, you have so many factors which take place into this specific performance score. So even though if you use Pagespeed Insights for Apple.com, actually we can check this.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's try apple.com.
Yeah. So they were getting around 50 or below 40 something, right?
Should be the same, yeah.
More or less.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it shows a poor score. I'm assuming it's, again, this can be due to, variable networks out there, and so on and so forth. I'm assuming both tools are using the latest version of Lighthouse. I mean, from your tool, we can even see that, right?
Yeah, you can see this on the top left corner. If you're here, you can see currently the 6.0 version. Actually, I think the latest version is 6.2, but it's just like released 10 days or 11 days ago. But yeah, for what I find really interesting on this side is actually you see here the screenshot, and then you see like a small notification or banner which says like, okay, do you want to see the site in Germany, because my browser is, or I'm sitting here in Germany. So yeah, it's yeah, you can't even tell from which location this test will run.
Yeah, true.
Run.
Maybe it's even taking your current location into consideration. 6.1. There we go.
Yeah.
So you can't really make a direct comparison between the tools, because they're, one tool might use a different version of Lighthouse, also might execute tests. I mean, this from Norway, maybe, or Germany, maybe, right? So it's like it's not directly comparable like that.
Yeah, that's true. And even though I would say, like, if you want to really consistently monitor your scores, you should choose only one specific tool, because each tool comes with its own configuration, networking, server location, so many different things which will take place, at least in the performance scores right here, for example. So it's not like you can mix up those numbers and say like, okay, the average is like 30. So the page is like has a performance score of 30. So yeah, if you want to test some site speed, choose only one tool to be consistent over time.
Yeah, I have to say though that I really like your tool, because it clearly visualizes that there really isn't any like there's not one answer to how good your site performs, and that's obviously due to change in network conditions or device speed and so on and so forth. But clearly this your tool identifies that we are living on different locations on Earth. There will be differences in performance. The servers will be located elsewhere than where your user is. So this takes us a bit further. I mean, given that you have this set of scores, let's say you're at 50s or low 50s, 40s, around there, do you have clients approaching you and say, hey, what can we do to improve this?
Yep. So many people are like texting or messaging me via Twitter, or just using the support function over here, like, okay, we have like a big site and obviously our scores are not that good. So what are the common recommendation? And yeah, it's like, it's really, how to say, it's really site specific, because in one place you have like a small site hosted on DigitalOcean, and you see like, okay, you only have a good score, for example, in US West, and all other scores are really bad. So you see like, okay, there's no CDN or bigger infrastructure. So yeah, depends on your user base, right? Because it doesn't make sense to, for example, you have just a small shop and you want to sell like some local stuff, and you're not interested in having good scores in EU Central, for example, if you're based in US West, right?
Yeah, so makes sense.
So it really depends on your site, right? But in most cases, if you have like a brighter audience or a bigger audience, you always have to like really identify the most common things why specific sites are really slow. for example, if you have like a fancy landing page, like in this case from the new iPhone, maybe your images or your assets are too big. So that's one of the, I would say, common mistakes. Like, okay, my designer just dropped me like this 100 megabyte, no, not 100, but like 5 or 3 megabyte big picture, and then you see this on your smart tiny phone, and you're like, okay, I don't have any super retina display, which even capable of this solution or resolution of the image.
Yeah, this sounds very relatable. I think most of developers, front-end developers, have had this issue in the past. So what if, so if you're a developer now and wondering, how can I use this tool? Obviously, you can go to the website and do a one-off task.
Actually, I can. Sorry if I interrupt you, but actually, that's the first time I will show this. But actually, you can just hit lighthouse.new, and it takes you to Lighthouse Metrics. So, guess who paid that much money for this awesome domain?
Oh my God.
Just
Lighthouse.new. Okay, very nice. So you should be, so Lighthouse.new / the domain then, and then you would just automatically execute.
Actually, that's a good idea. I will consider this, but for now, it's just like, because you have some guidelines on this .new domain. That's why that's the easiest setup to get the verification from Google to use this new domain extension.
That's very cool. Yeah. So that's awesome. So what about if you take it to the next step though? So let's say we have, if you have an existing site, maybe you have like a large either e-commerce or something that needs to be accessed globally, and you got an existing CI set up with infrastructure and all. How can you somehow integrate Lighthouse? Lighthouse Metrics with an existing setup like that?
For sure. So I just recently launched this new feature. So if you go to product, you can still go to measure again and get some more details about this tooling. And you will notice this new point here to monitor your scores right from GitHub. So with this GitHub integration, you're able to see your scores right inside GitHub. You don't have to switch over to Lighthouse Metrics or to Pagespeed Insights and just type your URL in and see your scores. So it integrates perfectly. Like, for example, with GitHub Actions, it's really commonly used because if you're not on Vercel or Netlify, obviously the simplest solution is here the GitHub Action, where you actually just pass a staging URL, for example, and you can run your tests again. So so that's the nice integration. Actually, I can show you how this looks.
Yeah, please do.
To log in. So that's my team, and it's still loading. That's why. And then I had just a few Lighthouse project, or like my whole organization, Lighthouse Metrics from GitHub here. And for example, if you look here on Lighthouse Metrics, you will see all my preview deployments, because that's actually the benefit from this integration. Because with, for example, like Vercel or Netlify, you're able to get a complete setup of your site, like on the site. So you can measure it, you can test it. For example, if you rework your whole navigation or landing page, then that's like a cool solution for you and your designers, maybe, where you can just code something up in a specific branch and then just share it with them on a really working URL, and not like, okay, it works on my machine, please take a look at my laptop. I think many know this. And then you can just see all your Lighthouse scores for this specific URL. So basically, as a default, it's the landing page. And for example, you can also add few URLs, like pricing in my case, or product measure. So I just can see always those scores for the specific site. And even if
that's
in
nice.
the overview, so you see like, okay, all sites are null. But yeah, in most cases, sometimes you have like some parts are hosted on Vercel, some parts are on some legacy systems, and with those, you're still able. In this case, you need a proxy, for example, but you still can see all your sites, and it doesn't matter where they hosted. So basically, the URL or the domain should be the same.
So this is an awesome thing if you are already on Netlify or Vercel and is using GitHub. That's really cool. I want to use this so bad. Oh man.
So if you have Vercel sites or Netlify sites, it's really easy because you get all this stuff for free basically. Because for example, in Vercel, in this case for Vercel, you just add this GitHub integration and you're done, because Vercel utilizes the deployment API from GitHub. And that's why you will see all of these informations are like popping in without any configuration. So that's the easiest one, I would say.
Nice. So let me ask a more difficult question though. What if you don't have your site on Vercel or Netlify? You got your own hosting thing set up. Is it even possible then? Is there a CI tool or CLI tool to use or planned?
So behind the scenes, the GitHub action is using the like a specific webhook, but it's not like public yet. So this is also a frequently requested feature to extend this more to be more like, even though in your case maybe you have some service in your own like bare metal service somewhere, or an AWS, like if you have really huge applications, then you're not like, okay, we are using Vercel on Netlify. But yeah, it will come soon. Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess there is a, we can expect some updates in the future for this, which we have seen. There's, that's nice. Cool.
That's one of the big things I'm working on. Or the other point is like web vitals. How do you say vitals? Web vitals.
Yeah, the vital.
Vital. I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, it's also like an interesting thing, because with Lighthouse you only like have still, or how you say, artificial, or like not a real, you don't measure like your real users, right? Because you just have one specific point where you just ping your site and see like, oh, is your site fast? But how are the response times, for example, or how snappy is your site if real users are on your site?
Right. Yeah. So I think this is the field data, which is collecting real users' web vitals from around around the globe. Very interesting that we now have that too. Interested to hear that it's going to might be a part of this as well. It's very cool. Sort of bringing everything in one place. Nice. So from the I'm just having a few more questions because I'm really interested in this topic. Do you sort of see any particular types of sites that perform better than other ones? Just so, this is a leading question, I'm guessing, but there is a bunch of different ways, right, to make a website today, all from good old just an HTML, CSS, all the way to server-side rendered React or something else. But are you able to sort of look at feedback or trends from people using your tool and see this works and this works not so well?
Actually, it's pretty hard to see those differences, because you still have to maintain those metadata, like where does this site hosted and which framework is used, like WordPress or Next.js or I don't know, Vue.js. So from this perspective, I can't tell anything, but I think, with this common tooling, like Vercel or Netlify, it's pretty easy to get really fast sites with almost like not that big effort, like like the good old days, I would say, where you just spin up your PHP server, host it somewhere on a cheap hoster, and push your WordPress. Because with this tools, it's pretty like you don't have to this kind of effort anymore.
True. It has become, given that you choose the right tool, I think you're right. It is easier now than it was a couple of years ago, at least. That's very true. Also, but it is also, harder to get the good score. I mean, the Lighthouse algorithms are stricter now, aren't they, than they were in the past?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, this is actually one big trend I see, or you can anybody can see, because the calculation behind the performance scores is a little bit different than from version 5.6 to 6.0, or like the new version 6 in general. So yeah, many people are like waking up like, oh, my Lighthouse score is not that good anymore. And like, okay, I changed nothing. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
And I think it plays together. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think this plays together with the tooling, right? Because tooling is like more easier, or it's not that hard to get better scores. Or okay, now with the new version, it's like I would say it's a little bit harder, but you have a good support. So it's not like, okay, how can I get my score from 90 to 95 or close to 100, right? So, but you have the tooling, you have all these tools.
Yeah, that's true. The tooling involves, and so should your websites.
Well. And it ties up and plays, like what Chris just said, it plays really well with the concept of being able to update your website pretty easily, right? So I guess if you're running on an infrastructure that it's pretty easy to develop and make changes and instantly, just push something in production faster, you keep following that trend of the continuous performance rules changing and stuff like that. So pretty interesting to see that.
I mean, I am personally thrilled that we're having this discussion right now, looking at how easy it is to track your sites for performance and how easily visible it is if something's bad. It has never been easier to communicate to management or someone that sort of often is the case. They have to say, yes, you can improve this, or it's not worth it. Now it's perfectly clear that you need to do something if you have a bad score. I mean, even that the number is red, you have to do something.
Yeah.
Right? And there are tons of numbers supporting this too, but as a developer right now is a really good time to actually get some performance work done. So I have one last question though. Chris, are there any plans of having even more regions in your suite? Right now there's 6, I think.
Yes, currently there are 6 regions. Actually, no, because I just discovered, so the infrastructure behind this site is running on AWS, on Cloud Functions or Lambdas. And it's pretty, I would say, it's a good starting point to use this to collect some Lighthouse scores. But in the future, I'm trying to use real servers, and so you get more like stable values, because if you, for example, monitor your scores over time, then you see with Cloud Functions or Lambdas, you see some like you're jumping between like 70 and 72. So you're jumping, your scores are more likely to be in a, in an area where they are appearing. But if you're using like real servers, then your scores obviously are getting better because you have a like solid infrastructure and just not like a small cloud function. So so there are really other tools, not other tools, but other features on its way. Like I said, maybe the web vitals. I still can't say it, and I'm on a live stream.
It's hard, man.
It's crazy.
Web vitals. It's they should have picked a different name for that.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know. I know.
But yeah, that's
so. Yeah. So I think it's probably about time to round off. We're closing in half an hour on this. We I think spend hours on this hot topic though. We can do another session later. But as you know, from Crystallize perspective, we are really thrilled to be able to show our clients this tool. We're using it ourselves, obviously, but this is the perfect tool for us to sort of give the customers and say, hey, use this, because this will tell you performance around the globe. We're dealing with customers that want to be globally present. So this tool just really suits us. So
Cool.
on behalf of Crystallize, I want to thank you for making it. It was a real good thing to see.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I hope a lot of people jumps on the most expensive plan to keep this tool alive.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. Let's wrap this up then. I think, guys, that was a really cool. Although you guys weren't like really at it, I know that Håkon is getting fired up with these things, and I can't blame him. I know him for a few years now. So thank you, Chris, for joining us. It was really nice having you here. And exactly like Håkon said, maybe when you roll out your newest features that you can't, say yet, but we can have another session in the future. It will be really nice to get an update on what you'll be releasing. And thank you, Håkon, of course, for joining one more time. And thank you guys for attending. Again, if you have any question, just feel free to reach out to us in Crystallize team in our Slack community channel, or here on YouTube. Let's leave a comment. We'll be on it. And of course, I have left links in the description to follow Chris if you want to fire off questions on how to improve your website, like everyone is doing, I think. So thanks everyone for joining, and hopefully we'll get to see you in the next one.
All right.
Have a good one.